Hey, gun people. Well, this video was posted a year ago, but somebody just sent it to me, and I like this guy. He's an attorney. Let's take a look, and I'll tell you why I like him. So he's got some gangster music of him. I'm not a fan of his pink shirt, stripes, and paisleys. That used to be a no-go, but I don't want to get into his attire, although he does do a little skincare product here. But I like him because he cusses, and he don't give a shit, and he tells it like it is, and he says everything that I always tell you freaking dummies. Don't talk to the police. Don't talk to the FBI. Don't talk to government. It will never freaking help you.
To another episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Today we are reacting to Alec Baldwin.
He's got a hat here, and I was trying to read it. It says stop self-snitching, meaning talking to the government. Because if you talk to the government, you're just giving them shit to use against you. Come on, people.
In his one-on-one interview. I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen some clips of it. So I'm going to watch this interview with...
Don't be trying to sue me either, Mr. Criminal Lawyer Bruce Rivers. Because I'm using your shit. I'm using it under Fair Use Act for critique and evaluation. And if you ever need help on a case or a cop perspective, look me up. I'll hook you up. Here we go.
With George Stephanopoulos. Now, what do you think my advice would be if you've got some pending litigation?
Don't talk to the damn cops.
And possible pending criminal charges.
Don't talk to the cops.
DFU, maybe? Shut the fuck up. Damn straight. You shut your mouth. And I'm going to comment on some of the things he says here.
5 bullet.
I'm handed a gun and someone declares, they said, this is a...
First, you could see he could probably use some of this...
I cut the part out if you go to his video. It says it's on a CLR Criminal Lawyer Reacts. If you go to his video about his little skincare, it removes dark circles, he says, and now he cracks on Alex. He could use some of this shit. That's pretty funny. Anyway.
Cream.
Old gun. In my years on the sets of film, hot gun meant that there was a charge in there, and cold gun meant there was nothing in there. When he's saying this is a cold gun, what he's saying to everybody on the set is you can relax. The gun is empty.
So he's making industry standard statements here that it's going to be very easy to find somebody that says that's not true. That's not true on our set. It depends on the director. It depends. I have yet to see one document from Hollywood or movie producers that says this is the standard for any guns used in any movies, because it doesn't exist. That's why I haven't seen it.
Okay. Bullshit. There's a firearm. You never relax. Never. Never.
Okay, so this guy does get a little bit into his gun expert. I think he's a gun guy, but I think he might be a liberal too because he likes Alec Baldwin. So I might have an issue with his politics, but he seems like a pretty straightforward dude. But most freaking lawyers are left loons. But anyway, he's got a gun. He pulls it out.
There's no such thing as a cold gun. There's no such thing as an unloaded gun. You treat every gun as though it's loaded.
Okay, so when I've been doing all these videos on this Alec Baldwin, everybody keeps telling me this. And from a gun owner who has a lot of guns, who shoots a lot, that is a basic fundamental principle of handling guns. But to apply that standard from a gun owner who handles gun and shoots to some left-wing little freaking movie dude who probably can't even freaking wipe his own ass, and you're going to tell him that he has to know everything about a gun, and if he drives a car, he's got to be a race car driver in a movie, and if he jumps out of an airplane, he's got to know how to fly the airplane, even though he's just jumping out of it in a movie. I don't think applying that standard to an actor is fair, and it's not going to go over well, and I think a defense attorney can kind of beat that up.
Period. Anybody that knows anything about firearms will tell you that. And if you're in charge of other people, you're on the top, because it's your movie, your set, you are absolutely 100% in charge. For him to sit down and do this interview is so short-sighted. When
he says short-sighted, what he's saying is, dude, you need to think about when this thing goes to trial, when a jury hears this a year or 2 years later, when they get you on a stand or depose you, they're going to use this damn video to question and to break down everything you say that's not exactly what you said in this video and say, are you lying now or were you lying then?
Trying to get a hold of the narrative, right? He's trying to get in front of this thing because he probably knew something was going to be coming out and he wanted to control that. But you can't. You fucking can't. And guess what? Every word he says is going to be something that somebody can use against him.
When he goes every word, do y'all remember the Clinton hearing? When they were deposing Clinton, and he says, I did not have sexual relations, and they go, what's the definition of sex? What's the definition of is? What's the definition of did? They got into every word trying to define it.
In either a criminal or civil context. So let's continue to listen.
What cold gun means.
Well, cold gun means there's no charge in there. There could be dummy rounds.
A dummy round looks like a real bullet, but it's completely inert. It contains no explosive charge. And you were rehearsing that scene. Was it an actual...
The reason behind having a dummy round, and I'll show you this right now. If you
So this looks like a 686, maybe a Smith & Wesson. It's gonna. I couldn't really get a look at the handle there when he picked it up. It's a nice double action revolver, probably 38, 357, but I really can't tell. Looks like a 686 with this. Maybe he's got some Packmeyer grips. Nice gun. I'll give him that, even though he is a lawyer with a pink tie.
Okay, I don't know if you can see inside here, but if you were pointing this at the camera, and you could tell that there weren't any rounds in it. And so to put the dummy round in, it makes it look like there's a bullet in there, powder in it.
Rehearsal, there's some disagreement about that, whether it was a formal rehearsal at that time.
This is a marking rehearsal. She got a monitor here. The camera is here filming that way.
When they start using specific terms that only you use, that's very inappropriate for the stand or later, because now you're going to have to find that. That's why when you're testifying as a cop on a stand, you have to break things down and don't use cop lingo. I hate when cops get up there and they taught that shit in academy and they critiqued you afterwards. A lawyer don't want you to get up there and seem like a damn robot when you're testifying. Use words that people can understand. Don't try to be the smartest guy in the room. Well, it was a vehicle with white in color, appeared to be a 1969-70, the C-Series, with the V8 tires and, whatever. Just freaking say it was a car.
How she wants me to hold the gun for this angle. And I draw the gun out and I find a mark. I draw the gun out, I find a cut. And what's really urgent is the gun wasn't meant to be fired in that angle.
So if you're shooting directly into the camera lens, you're not aiming...
I'm not shooting into the camera lens. I'm shooting just...
So he says it's not meant to be fired, and then he says, I'm shooting just off. Which one is it?
her direction.
In her direction.
I'm holding the...
So he's just now admitted to like 90% of the elements of the crime. He's got the gun in his hand. He's pointing it at the person who's the decedent.
Now, when he says that, I mean, look, we're going to prove that through video, and there was a lot of witnesses there that are going to prove that. But again, an attorney wants to be able to go over in a controlled environment and discuss the case with you and decide, this is how we're going to say this. And if you say something stupid that makes you look dumb, he'll go, no, don't say it that way. We need to say it like this, or only answer it like this. And if you get out there and do interviews and start giving statements and talk to your cellmate or talk to a bunch of other people, you blow that opportunity, because now there's more of a chance somebody's going to come in and go, that's not what he told me. That's not what he told me. And then you look like a liar.
He does not need to do this interview. It's just so stupid. This is what we call self-snitching.
Where she told me to hold it, which ended up being aimed right in below her armpit, was what I was told. I don't know. This was a completely incidental shot, an angle that may not have ended up in the film at all. But
won't be in a film now because somebody actually died.
I'm doing this new, so then I said to her, now in this scene, I'm going to cock the gun. And I said, do you want to see that? And she said, yes. So I take the gun and I start to cock the gun. I'm not going to pull the trigger.
So when you cock a gun, and this gun I think is called a single six. So unlike this gun, where you can go, like you push this and this comes out, it has the
cylinder.
Cylinder stays within the gun, and there's a little door right here, and so you can, when you open the door and then you turn it.
Some people call it trap door. Some people call it a loading port or an ejection port.
And you can put each bullet in as you spin it. So to cock a gun, if you're not cocking it all the way, if you cock it all the way, it sticks. If you don't cock it all the way and you let it go, there's a danger that it'll go off.
Okay, so he's not really familiar with the single shot because it has what's called a quarter and a half cock safety. So if you pull it back just a quarter, it will lock to the rear. You have to pull the trigger to release it. And if you pull back halfway, it has a half lock safety. For the very reason he's saying, if you let it go, it'll fire. All single action guns have a half and quarter cock. It has to be all the way cocked in order for it to go. Or the trigger has to be pulled while you're cocking it. And then if you let it go, it will go. But the trigger has to be pulled to get the hammer to drop.
You need to know firearms if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff.
Right.
You see that? Can you see that? And she says, and then I let go of the hammer of the gun and the gun goes off.
I let go of the hammer. Well, what do you think's gonna fucking happen when you let go of the hammer? Jesus Christ, it's gonna fire the fucking gun.
Now, that's what he's reacting to, what most lay people will react to. Now, you can get an expert on there and explain, well, that's not true. And what he's talking about, these guns have a quarter cock and a half cock safety and a full cock safety. And the only way this gun is gun. But if you do that, now you got to get him to say that he pulled the trigger. It's just, don't talk to the police. Don't give interviews. That's just stupid.
I let go of the hammer of the gun and the gun goes off.
At the moment.
Okay, Mr. Baldwin, can you write me my fucking check, please? I mean, he's got pending litigation. Why the fuck would you put this on TV? If I'm his lawyer, I'm telling him, okay, we're...
My guess is his lawyer gets paid and he tells his lawyer what to do. That's the problem when you let money override good advice.
Your checkbook. I mean, come on.
That was the moment the gun went off, yeah.
And here's the thing, I like Alec Baldwin. I think he's fucking hilarious as, what do you call it, Donald Trump and a lot of the
See, he had to search for Donald Trump's name. I don't know if he's a left wing or not.
movies that he does. I think he's fantastic. This is such a dumb move. Such a dumb move.
He's a freaking liberal. He's a left wing idiot movie actor. I don't like him because he is a left wing, but I digress.
Nothing good can come out of this except for if I'm a plaintiff's lawyer, hey, look at this. We hardly even have to depose him because
Right.
George Stephanopoulos just did our fucking work for us.
Exactly.
Was the moment the gun went off.
It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
Actually, the FBI did a test on the gun, and it says the gun can't go off unless you pull the trigger. And I said that as soon as this happened because you showed it in another interview where you squeezed the damn grip and you squeezed your trigger finger and you pulled the trigger and didn't even freaking know it. It's called interliminar action, and you just squeezed it.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them. Never.
Actually, you did,
That was
and
the
you killed
training that I
somebody.
had. You don't point a gun at me.
There he goes. There's another slight little nugget of a fact. The training that I had. So
This is a great point. He slipped up. I didn't catch that when he gave the original interview and I was doing these videos. He admitted to having training. So now he can't get on the stand and say, well, I wasn't trained properly. And, the attorney can't go, well, did you ever receive training on this? You ever receive training on this? Because now the prosecutor go, didn't you say in the interview that you had training? Don't you think you're proficient? Don't you think you know the gun? You're a smart guy. A good prosecutor, a good attorney will lead him right where they want him to go. And because he's arrogant, unless he's been briefed properly, he's going to, I absolutely am trained. I'm an expert. I was the director. I know. I follow a procedure. I didn't pull the trigger. And I mean, I would just start off with, you didn't pull the trigger, right? And I believe you. I'm just trying to get it clear that you didn't pull the trigger. The gun went off and you've had training. So you know you didn't pull the trigger, right? That's correct. That's correct. And because you didn't pull the trigger, I mean, I'm sure you know what you're doing with guns, right? You know what pulling the trigger is. Absolutely. And you've had a lot of training with guns through your movie careers, haven't you? Yes, I have. It would be so easy to take him where I wanted him to go.
So now he's
And I'm not even an attorney. I just play one here on YouTube.
the top dog. He's the producer of the film. He's also the actor now in there. He's got the gun in his hand. And so one of the things that, foreseeability and knowledge, that's one of the biggest things on whether it's civil or criminal. And he just said, with the training that I've had, okay, well, tell us some more.
Helena and I had something profound in common. And that is we both assumed the gun was empty. Other than those,
Yeah, you both were dumbasses. And she ended up dead. And you should be charged, which you are.
dummy rounds.
You never assume the gun is empty.
Or the hammer, bang, the gun goes off. Well, everyone is horrified.
That's going to be an easy catch on a stand. When you got guns before in your movies, did you assume they were empty? Or did you confirm them? If he says, through all my movies, I have never cleared and looked in a gun and confirmed it myself, I would be shocked. I would venture to say he's done it at least once, or you can find somebody that said on our set he had to clear it. We made all the actors clear it. And then it gets into, well, you were either lying or you don't remember. And if you cleared it then, why didn't you clear it this time? Was it lazy? Was it money? Were you in a hurry? What's going on? He's just screwed.
They're shocked. It's loud. They don't have their earplugs in. No one was. The gun was supposed to be empty. I was told I was handed an empty gun. If there were cosmetic rounds.
The only reason he's telling you this right now is because he's saying it ain't my fucking fault. It ain't my fault.
which is going to hurt him when he gets on a stand later when he's testifying and he's crying, saying, I feel so bad, and I shouldn't have done it, and looking back, I should have done this, and I really blame myself. Well, didn't you say in the interview that it wasn't you? Say it wasn't you, little Shaggy.
With a charge at all, a flash round, nothing. She goes down. I thought to myself, did she faint? The notion that there was a live...
Did she faint? He shot 2 people. She went down, and the guy behind him started screaming because he got shot too. And he's like, did she faint? Really?
Round in that gun did not dawn on me till probably 45 minutes to an hour later.
45 minutes to an hour.
Well, she's...
That's bullshit, because you would see...
This is why I like this guy. That's bullshit. You're fucking stupid. I like him. See, me and him would get along because we'd be like, man, what the fuck, really? We wouldn't be worried about fucking hurting each other's feelings when we're describing shit.
A fucking bullet hole in her with blood coming out. That's bullshit, because you would see a fucking bullet hole in her with blood coming out 45 minutes to an hour later. See, this is why you don't get on fucking TV and you spill your fucking... That doesn't even sound remotely believable. And guess what? If you're not believable on this, you're not believable on that. You're not believable... And, you know, and it's so fucking tone deaf. It's so tone deaf.
I think when he says tone deaf a lot in this interview, and I think he's not real clear on that. I think he means you can't read a room. It means that when you say this shit, you're so tone deaf to how everyone else hears it, and you can't even hear how bad it sounds. I think that's what he means.
When I go, did she get it by wadding? Was there a blank? Sometimes those blank rounds have a wadding inside that packs, it's like a cloth that packs the gunpowder, and sometimes wadding comes out and can hit people, and it can feel like a little bit of a poke.
Okay, a little bit of poke or a fucking bullet in the chest. I mean, give me a break.
No one could understand. Did she have a heart attack?
Okay.
Here's where it gets me. This guy's funny.
As blood is pouring out of her fucking chest, I think she...
We don't know if there's blood pouring out, and a lot of bullets don't. If you've never seen a gunshot, especially if you're fat or if you get hit in fatty tissue area, the fatty tissue will close unless you hit an artery, and sometimes you only get like a drop. You bleed internally or whatever. So, or you bleed on the exit wound. So you're not going to have blood squirting out. So he's not really correct here, but he's freaking pretty funny.
Okay, as blood is pouring out of her fucking chest, I think she had a heart attack. Who fucking believes? And here's the thing, I don't even mean to be a fucking dick. Pardon my French, I swear a little bit too much. But I just, as a lawyer, I get absolutely incensed by this because, I mean, wadding? Oh, ouch. Oh. Or...
Dude, this is the type of attorney that will be doing that shit in front of the jury. I used to love attorneys that were animated in front of a jury and shit, because I'd be sitting there like, oh my god, he's going to win over some of these guys. Anyway, if you want to go watch this guy, it's a pretty good little interview. I want to put this on my playlist for Alec Baldwin. And just another perspective, and I kind of like this attorney. So if anybody knows him or whatever, I would love to do a live with him or go on him, or he could come on mine. And if we talk about a case or some shit, if we disagree on something, because I'd love to debate this guy. He's freaking funny. All right, we'll end that there.